Hello everybody and welcome to the tutorial for the Portal Fragment template. I am not a YouTuber really, or a tutorial kind of guy, but I'm part of a Discord with Big Dude, who is a YouTuber. And in the Discord, we are all making Big Dude dungeons for him to run and play. So there's a lot of questions swirling on how to create these dungeons, blah, 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 the methods and entities and all that. So I created a mod to help people out. And this is the tutorial that goes with that. So if you go to CurseForge, I'm sure that you can find a tutorial how to use CurseForge. Look for Portal Fragment template. I'm sure you've probably already got it if you're watching this video, but I've already installed it, so it's part of my mods in Hytale. I'm going to walk you through the whole process so you can actually get this template to where you can actually create things from it. So we're going to go to Hytale. Now that we've got our mod installed, we're going to create a new world. We're going to create a creative world. We're going to call it, I don't know, My Crazy World, just for simplicity. Ooh. My Crazy World mod. Why not? No, we'll just do My Crazy World. Okay. Click the little settings icon. We do want NPCs, pause time. We could just do a generated world. It's fine. All that. And then we don't want to select our mod in here because we're going to be importing it from the mods folder. So, see, it's right here, but we don't want to select it for our world because we're going to be putting it into our world a different way. So we'll apply settings and we'll create the world. Now you don't want to have the mod be part of the main mods folder and part of your world at the same time. It just kind of, I haven't figured out if the one that's in your world overwrites the one in the regular mods folder. So I'll show you what. Okay, so we're in our new generated world, creative mode. Cool. Oh, water generated right outside. That's crazy. Love it. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to our file structure, right? We're going to go to our saves folder. If you don't know how to find this, it's where your name is, app data, roaming, Hytale, user data. And we're going to go all the way down to user data. Now, user data, there's going to be a folder in there called mods. You're going to double click that. And then you're going to find all your mods that you have installed from CurseForge, right? So we're going to open this up. This is the portal fragment, right? We want this stuff inside it because we're going to modify it, use it for our own mod or our own dungeon or whatever we're doing. So double click that, and then we got that. And then we're going to open a new file explorer, and we're going to see if I can get back there quickly. Okay, we're going to go to our saves folder, right? This is our saves folder. So we're going to find My Crazy World saves. So it's in user data saves, My Crazy World. Okay, see this mod folder? Now that's where we want to extract, or actually we're going to create a new, okay, we're going to create a new, mods, yeah. Create a new folder in here. We're going to call that whatever you want to call your mod, right? Let's just call it My Portal Fragment mod. Okay, whatever you want to call it, whatever your mod's going to be called that you can share with other people. Then drag all of this stuff from the zip that's in the mods folder, the main one. Unpack that to this folder. So now we look in here and we have the structure of this mod, right? Okay, so that's a mod in our thing. Now I'm going to go back to, I'm going to exit out of here, go back to the main menu. Okay, go back here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the user data, and I'm not sure that this is a step you have to do, but I'm going to go on and do it anyway. I'm going to go on and delete this out. So it's not in there, in the mods, installed mods. So I'm going to go back to my saves to make sure that I'm on the right folder for when I continue work. Okay. So now I'm back in our mods folder for My Crazy World. Okay, so now we can go here and go to My Crazy World. Now it's going to automatically, you don't have to set it active or anything because it's in the mods folder already. It's just an active mod of this particular world. It's not a mod that's available to other worlds. It's just this world. So we're back into our world with the river. Cool. So now in creative mode, you can go on and pull. We're going to pull a few things. So we're going to pull our fragment portal key. We need that. And we're going to pull an ancient gateway because we need that. We're going to pull the bench because we'll just look at that as well. We're going to want the entity grabber tool, right? We're going to want the... oh, that's not right. Where am I going? Selection tool we're going to want, and we're going to want the prefab. Where is it? Oh my gosh, I'm getting lost here. Prefab selector tool. Okay. So these selection tool, prefab selector tool, and entity grabber tool are going to be the ones that we're going to use in this tutorial. So we have our Arcanus workbench, our template portal key, and our ancient gateway. All right, and the reason I pull all of these in for creative mode, because I don't want to spend the forever time for the memories, right? You have to have memories to unlock. I'll show you. So if I throw this down and I open it up, right, everything is locked because of the memories, right? So I don't have access to any of the portals or the fragments, right? So because I need memories to unlock it, right? So I'm not going to worry about the memories. I haven't figured out how in creative mode to just give me memories, like access them. So, and I don't want to spend the time going around trying to find 100 memories or spawning all the mobs to give me the memories. So until I do that, this is just the easier way to test your world. So we're going to throw down an ancient gateway. Cool. And then we've got our fragment. So this is, see the bottom, it says fragment portal temple, a template for a portal key that leads to the template fragment instance. Okay, so now if we use this on here, we see template fragment. Here's our little hints. Tell everyone Dark Wolf's the best, blah, blah, blah. The little artwork. We're going to summon our portal. Now it's creating a world for us, right? That's an instance world inside this fragment, right? So I'm going to go in here. It's going to take us in here. Now this is the fragment that it generated, or the world that it generated. So all of these are basically prefabs that are in here temporarily, right? So in 12 minutes, this world will disappear. I will be kicked out of it and back into my own world. We can set the time limit for whatever we want. So you can have like a really quick instance where they come in and they can do stuff for like 6 minutes, or they can do stuff for like 30 minutes or an hour, however much time you want to give them in this world before it kicks them out. Or if they die in this world, before you do anything in a new world, you have to type in OP self. That gives you operator permissions. So just do that first, go back, do it first, do it whenever it yells at you that you don't have permissions. So do OP /OP self. And I put the / it's the question mark key on my keyboard to get me into the chat. So if I just hit that and then I hit OP self, that'll give me, oh, and I'm taking it off. How about we just leave it on? Okay. So we're in the special world. You can see the timer up here is the timer up in the corner here. It says our template our fragment we're in, Fragment of Orbis, and we have our time ticking down. Now, if we die in here, it'll just kick us out of the world, right? Because it's a fragment. So I'll just let this guy kill me if he doesn't take forever. And there's some cows out there. So it's running like normal NPC spawner stuff inside this world. But that's not really concerned with this tutorial, so that'll be a future tutorial or whatever. Okay, so now that we've seen all of this, right? What is the structure, right? Let's go back to being... Oh, you can hit O to switch back and forth between creative and adventure mode. That's what I'm hitting. So how do we deal with creating new, like our world, right? Well, it's complicated, right? Because it is, but it's simple if you get to know it. So let's go through the structure of our mod. Let's go into our mod. So my portal fragment mod inside my crazy world, right? We're going to go in here. Okay, so here's what we have. Manifest, server, and common. Common, you can think of this folder as everything that's art-wise is going to be in here, like your icons. The special custom UI artwork is in here. This is artwork if you want to change it for your portal. That's in here. Usually you'll have like your 3D models, all of the common holds basically artwork. Server holds like code and the information about our world. Manifest is going to be the information about, if we open that up and look at that, manifest, this is manifest. And you can change this, put your name up here in group, what the name of the mod is, the version number, and then a description for it. I just have my information here for the author, and then all of this other stuff is whatever. So that's just that. We don't need that open because we're going to be using, I just use Notepad to edit. It's just easier and faster for me than, I don't know, there's complicated ones for other things. But anyway, so let's go into server and look at this. So there's a lot of folders. So one of the, let's just go through environments is environments. I don't think in this one we're actually using, and I still have it set up incorrectly in the mod, but this isn't actually functioning, but you can set this in, when you go to weather, and you can set somewhere, I get lost in all the, there's so many different things. Okay, let's not worry about that then. So neither of those you need to work. Okay, so Hytale generator and instance is basically like the important ones, but let's start with this with something simple. Let's start with the portal fragment template. Okay, so this is your portal key, basically, the shard. Portal fragment. So it says the instance ID. This instance ID is pointing us to the folder of the instance that this portal fragment is taking us to. And these are the names. This, and this, the tips and the name and the description. This is all pointing us to our languages folder in here where we hold all of our text. So portal key template and languages is where all of our text is going to be held right here. So the file, right? Portal key underscore template, right? Portal key underscore template. That's the file, the first part. Then a period, and then portals, portal template basic, portal template basic, portals, portal template basic. See how that works? Dot name, template fragment. So we can change this right now just to show the change. Let's do my crazy fragment, just so you can see where the change is happening. This is a crazy fragment. Okay. Portal key to crazy world, right? This is the name up here for your key. Portal key to crazy world, crazy town. Let's just do crazy town. Leads to crazy fragment instance. Okay. So if I change that and then I save it, I'm just using text edit. These are the little tips that show up in blue when you open the world, like right before you open it. This, you know, you saw these earlier. So that's where these references in your portal key. And this right here is super important, instance ID. This is going to be the folder of the instance. So if we look here, we go to server, instances, portal template basic. See that? Portal template basic, portal template basic. That's the instance it's going to run, this portal key, right? The other important thing to note in this portal fragment template is this player spawn here. This is where it's going to spawn the player. So you'll have to play with these numbers to get your portal spawning to where you want it in your world. I just have it set to 100. It's set at the top of that prefab right now. All right. So that's portal types. Now we're going to go to item. Items, portal. Here's the portal key. Okay. I can't remember. Yeah, okay, portal key. Okay, so this is the item. This is the portal. This is the portal that opens from the portal key. This is the portal key. So here's your description, name and description up top, right? In your languages, which is Crazy Town. Portal key template description is just pulling the portal key description with the template, right? Or with words. So that's that. It's just using the portal key, the icon for portal key from the default folders of Hytale. It's pulling the portal key fragment. It's pulling you can change all of this stuff by watching another tutorial that teaches you how to change models, because this is not really a tutorial about that. So it's using the basics, and then portal, temporary, types, tag, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, portal type right here. See this? Portal type for your key. That's this right here, portal fragment template. That's the name of this file. Okay, so the portal key, you need to change this. If you're going to change this file's name, then you need to change this. So the structure of this is really important, that you have all this correct, otherwise Hytale won't run it. So inside your portal key, this is the item, the actual shard that they hold in their hand. It's going to tell it to open this portal fragment template. Portal fragment template. This is the portal it's going to open. Okay, that's going to take them to this instant with this text and this artwork. Remember that artwork I showed you? So splash image, portal template artwork.png, you can change that if you change the file name of the artwork. So then you can have special artwork for your portal. All right, I don't think there's anything else in here. That's all just item related stuff. We don't need that open. So we'll leave our languages open because that's fine. All right, let's go back in here, and we're just looking through the structure. Okay, so we already looked at instance. Here's the instance, right inside the instance folder. It's just spawning an instant, and the world structure, this is important. Okay, so here's your actual player spawn in the instance. So it's going to use world structure, this name, and it's going to spawn the player in the center of the map, basically at 143y, which is the height. So at 143 blocks in the air, it's going to spawn the portal and the player. So super important. Now this down here, delete on remove, super important. Leave it at true, so it always deletes the world when the player leaves it. That way it's an instance. So every time they're going into it, it's completely regenerating. That's why they're fragments. You go into a world, it's not like a permanent fragment. You can change this to false. I haven't played too much with that to see if it holds everything I did in the fragment world or not, but you can try that and see if you test it out and see. But this world structure and the player spawn, this part's super important right here. So fragment template basic of the world structure, we're going to find that over here. Go back to server, go to Hytale generator, go to world structures, fragment template basic file, right? Fragment template basic. I'm emphasizing this because if this is wrong, this code is finicky. So if you miss if you don't have all this correct, then it won't run. That's why I made this mod. So now we're going to open the world structure and see what's going on there. So here's our world structure, fragment template basic world structure. So basically it's just doing stuff that blah, blah, blah. But the important part of this is the default biome, right? So default biome is fragment template basic. Okay, so let's go to the biomes. Fragment template basic biome, right in the biomes folder. Let's open that. All right, so this is the actual where it's spawning in those prefabs and the world itself. So we're going to open this in the fancy dancy curve editor inside of Hytale. So we're not going to go into that. So just make sure that is that in the world structure file, it's pointing to the correct biome. Now we'll edit this biome in the Hytale over here. So we'll go to creative tools, we'll go to assets, we'll go to the node editor, that's what it's called. We'll open the node editor. And it's not as scary as it seems. So you're just going to go to file and open. Then you're going to go to your saves folder, right? And go to my crazy world, go to mods, fragment mod, go to server, go to Hytale generator, go to biomes, and we'll click on biome. Okay, perfect. So here's our fragment world generation. Looks scary, right? Totally not. Okay, so what is it doing here? So starting out, it's creating terrain. Now, if I took, let's just do terrain first. density, blah, blah, blah. It's going to, this is how I have it set to super flat. Persistence is 1, so the world is flat right now. You can make it wavy if you want. You can do however you want. I can show you wavy. But these basically, if you mess with these, it will change the waviness of the world that's generated, right, inside the shard. So, and then you have, yeah, so that's generating the terrain. That's the generation of the terrain, like the curve. And then down here, material provider, this is where we're looking at the names of the blocks, the block names of what we're generating for our terrain, right? I'm just using corrupted brick, rock, and bedrock in the main terrain generation, right? And then we're going down here and we're doing props. And props is kind of what's the important part. Oh, and that's the, yeah, solid and empty. Okay, so then up here, when it's generating this, whatever's solid will show up as these. And whatever's empty is going to be empty block. So that's the terrain still. And then props and environment tent provider. Okay, so environment provider, super important. Let's go to that one first. So environment, right now it's spawning this environment, but if I change it to like env_void, and I'll show you where you can find all the environments. But so right now it's just zone 1 planes. And then the tent provider is this. That's just the color of the tent of the world. So then we can go to props, and this is where we're generating our, all of this is kind of super technical. You'll have to just play around with it and see, but basically I have it weighted assignments. It's pulling both of these 0.5. It's pulling in a prefab, template prefab 01. So this is our one prefab, empty bedrock. So it's where to place the prefab. It's looking for an empty, and the topmost block of my terrain it's finding, and then it's placing it like flat on the top of it. And this is the distance it searches. I'm sorry if this is not like super, this is very technical, this stuff. So yeah, so it's just that's why I do all the big squares. I haven't messed too much with like the randomization of the world, but so anyway, so now down, and then the weighted assignment. So basically it's just choosing between 3 different prefabs, right? Template prefab 2, template prefab 3, and it's just randomizing these 3 prefabs right here. See 1, 2, 3, and all of their stuff. So all of this you can just play around with and see. But I just wanted to show you like how to get here to change this. If you add in a different name for your prefab, or you change the prefab names, this is where you come to do that. So this is basically this. We're not going to change this much. I'm just showing it off. And this tutorial video isn't like it's just how it works. If you want like the more deeper technical stuff, you're going to have to like in anything beyond that, because this has taken me a lot of time just to bang my head against it and figure out all of that I'm showing you now. So this is like a starting place. So now that we have you've seen the structures, you've seen the folders. Let me see if there's anything else in here that I need to show. You've seen languages, portal types. Okay, prefabs, here's our 3 prefabs, but we're not going to edit it right here. They're each in their own folder. You can use any prefab in Hytale, I believe. So how you edit your prefabs, you go to World, Creative Tools World, Prefab Editor, hit Browse, go to then you've got your 3. So you just go into one, select it, hit Confirm. I usually don't mess with any of these other settings unless I want like a different environment. Oh, this is where you can find the environment names. If you want to change the environment of editing the prefab. So then you would take this name and you would put this in the curve editor, or whatever that editor is called that I was just in. I can't remember it now. It's been a long night. So you can change this. This is just for the editing the prefab we're going to edit right now. So this doesn't really matter. It's got all these options for while you're editing the prefab. So we've got our prefab selected. We're going to load it up. and it takes us in, and here's our prefab. So we can edit this to our heart's delight. Now, the prefab selector tool, I have the prefab selector tool. I'm going to select the prefab, right? I go inside it, click it. Now there's our origin. This is what's going to place on the ground right here, right at this spot. So anything underneath this is going under the ground, basically. And you can change that with the anchor tool, right? The anchor tool will change. You can change that to anywhere on your prefab. I have it all set up, the template for you guys, where it does the squares right next to each other. So you can mess with that. It has chasms between them. You just play with it, right? This is just giving you like the most basic things. I'm going to use these for dungeons, for people to come in and run dungeons. You can watch my other videos and kind of get an idea of what I'm using them for. But super important, if you come in here and you want to say, I want to add something on the ground right here, right? Let's say I want to put like a tower of black cloth, just for ease of sake. Let's cancel our selection. Say I want to add, okay, so I'm like, okay, well, I want towers of black cloth everywhere, right? Then I'm just going to throw this down, and I want this to be part of the prefab, right? Just a bunch of black wool, right? So I'm going to do that. And then let's put an enemy or two, because why not, right? So I'm making a little mountain. I'm putting all of these things down. Then I'm going to go to the entity grabber tool, and I want to place some enemies around this map. Then I'm going to, hitting L will open the legend. It just gives you all the useful things about the tool you're using. So I'm going to open the entity spawner, and I'm going to select an enemy to spawn. Let's just do skeletons because they're easy. He might be a little hard, but let's spawn him in anyway. All right. So he's going to be frozen there because he's part of a prefab. He's not in the main world. The time is not running in here. So he's just going to run in place. All the enemies will just run in place, but they will spawn in every time you go back into, every time you open the portal and the player comes in here, this enemy will be here, maybe. Sometimes they don't show up. I don't know why, but sometimes they die, It's still early access, so now we have our skeleton and we have our blocks that we put in. Okay, so how do we save this, right? This is the important crazy thing. So let's select our prefab with the prefab selector again. Okay, I've got it selected, right? But I've got a problem because I built outside the selection, right? So major problem because it's only going to say what's inside the selection, right? I've placed stuff outside the prefab. So go to your selection tool, which is this one. And then you're going to grab the top, right? And then you're going to just drag it up to cover everything, right? Now that it's covering everything, I have to assign it to the prefab. So I'm going to go back to the prefab selector tool with my new selection, right? And this is where you're going to press R, and it updates the bounding box for your prefab, right? So now it's going to save this stuff in our prefab. Very important. If you add stuff to the side, you've got to make sure to move the selection and then assign it to the prefab again. Okay, so now we're going to type pedit save. That's going to save our prefab. Finished saving, and we're going to do pedit exit to get out of here. And now let's go into our shard and see the changes we made. So I've got the shard in my hand for Crazy Town. Now we can see it's saying Crazy Town now because we changed the text, remember? So now let's go in normal. My crazy fragment, right? This is a crazy fragment. So I changed the text. This is the tips text that we saw, and the crazy fragment. This is the artwork that I showed you that you can change. Summon portal. We're going to go into our crazy world now. All right, there we go. Look at the archers around. See the archers in the wool? So our prefab changes are in the world now. So now we can fight these skeletons, we can collect the wool, or we can do whatever we want to. And the world is just infinite in here as well, right? There's the wool, there's the, pretty cool, huh? So, and then you can go into, I'm not going to show you prefab 2 and 3, but basically there's a chance that none of them will spawn. So that's the generation down there. And of course, animals are spawning everywhere because it's still, it's just populating the world with NPCs. But you can edit the other prefabs, right? I have 3 in there that you can change, and then they'll show up. You can make them look like terrain. You can completely not use prefabs and just use the ground for your world. So there's so many different ways you can change this around. And this guy's angry. And he missed. Man, you're a terrible shot. Okay, not so much. And so let me show you real quick before I stop the video. Let's go back into our text and go into portal key. Nope. Instance. No, I think it's the other. No, it's going to be in our actual item. Items, portal. Yeah, okay, so in items, portal key template, here's your time frame. That's the 12 minutes right now. So if I was to change that, I would have longer. It's by 60 seconds, right? So 60 times 12 is 72, I think. Anyway, so this is where you would change the time in seconds of how long the portal's open before it closes and throws the player out. So you can make this as long as you want it. And I haven't tried like -1 to see if, let's try this real quick on this video and see if that we can make it infinite with no time limit, or if it'll just like throw an error. Yeah, so -1, it just took us straight back out of the portal. So that is not how to do that infinite. Well, good to know. Now we can do something crazy like 10,000, see how high we can go up. Let's see. Go back into our world. Yeah, now we have 2 hours and 46 minutes and 40 seconds. So, and the reason it's spawning us so far from the portal is because the yaw is set weird. Let's exit real quick. I'll show you. I think that I know what's wrong with that right now. Like I said, there's so many of these files. You think they'd make it like easier, but in one file would be nice. I don't think it's, yeah, instance Y patrol. Where is that? Going to zero these out. See what that does. No, it's still spawning out here. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but anyway, it gets you in there. So yeah, it's just a basic mod to get you started on these instance fragments, give you everything you need to start building your own. So if you liked the video, like, subscribe, keep in touch. I'm working on the Brotherhood of the Wolf. The Wolf Trials is my dungeons set I'm creating with has a bunch of new items and armor and lore and all of that stuff. So this archer is going to kill me. Maybe if he hits me. There we go. So yeah, check that out, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope this video really helped you guys. And I will see you in the next one.